All right, so here is our agenda for today and what we hope to cover for you today. So some of the highlight things that we'll kind of go over are we'll go over our role overview, key initiatives and data, opportunities for collaboration, and how we can support your student. And so before we get started, we'll go ahead and introduce ourselves. Before we have all the success coaches introduce themselves, we do have someone here from counseling with us joining for the presentation. And so I'll go ahead and let Ray, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's Flex workshop and welcome to the Fall 24 semester. My name's Ray Mapesa, General Counselor and currently Department Chair. I've been here 25 years. I've been Chair for almost 10 years, so welcome.
And my name is Gurpreet Bhatia, and I'm one of the success coaches for Arts, Media, and Entertainment. So welcome again, and thank you for being here.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Chua Vu. I serve as a success coach for the CAC Health and Human Services. I'm very glad for all of you to join us this morning.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jenny Bang. I'm the success coach for Business and Computer Science and English and Language Studies.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lucia, and I'm the success coach for Science, Math, and Engineering and our undecided or gen ed transfer students.
Good morning, everyone. I am Clarissa Correa Hamilton. I am the success coach for social and behavioral sciences, the staff person for the placement office, and also honored to serve as your classified Senate Vice President. So excited to be here, and thank you for taking the time out of your schedules to join us this morning.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Hua Vu. I am the success coach for agriculture, food, and natural resource, and also automotive construction and design technology.
And then we also have Denise Figueroa, who is not here to join us today, but she is also our success coach for the CRC dual enrollment. And she works with our high school students who are taking college courses while in high school. So she supports these students by providing college readiness workshops, provides one-on-one appointments, and provides case management throughout the semester for them. And then also quick note, Clarissa will be our chat lead today. So she will be monitoring the chat messages and other engagement going on today. All right, so to get us started, we're going to do a quick little check-in activity. So please go ahead and navigate over to our Jamboard. We will drop in the link in the chat right now. And then if you're new to Jamboard, to add your comment to the board, you'll click on the little sticky note on the icon on the left. Type in your response and then click save to post. If you want, you can also change the color of the sticky note. So go ahead and take a few minutes to write as many responses as you'd like. I'm seeing some responses. So we have our question was, what do you already know about the role of our success coaches? And I see some responses, help students. I also see not sure, seems we do not have enough of them. Schedule counselor appointments. And then we also have help incoming new students, support students in specific CACs. Great. Lots of responses there. Provide resources for struggling students. And then I know nothing, I'm here to and happy to learn. Yes, that's why we're here today. And then here's our next one. What do you hope to learn about the Success Coach's role? So if you guys want to take a moment to go ahead and put in your responses.
To get to the second one at the very top, you can click on the frame up here as my mouse is indicating. You'll go to the second question. If you could please add a note so we know what you hope to learn from us today.
All right, great. Something new and contact information of the success coaches. Great. We'll be going over that. More details about what they can do for students. Thank you for your responses. All right. Thank you everyone for participating in your engagement. And so, you know, well, I'm going to go ahead and pass it along to my colleague, Hua, and she'll be going over our role overview for today.
Okay, some great questions. Hopefully we can go over them today. Next, we're going to go into what our role is as a success coach. Okay, so we're mainly here to support student be successful at CRC. We're here to remove any barriers a student may encounter while they're at CRC. Any of those barriers can come from enrollment barriers, financial aid barriers, where we can help students enrolled in classes, help them remove that. Sometimes it's with registration help. Sometimes it's looking over their financial aid application and referring them over to Financial Aid Fridays, which is located inside the Welcome Center. We also help students navigate the Canvas, their Canvas account, which can be different for them, especially if it's their first year taking online classes. We also put our case managed students into a Canvas shell where we nudge them for important dates like drop deadlines, when the class schedule is coming out, when it's time to register, if there's any events going on campus, or if there's any events that we're hosting, we'll kind of put that in our nudge that comes out of our Canvas shelf. We are also able to help make counseling appointments for students and refer them to any support programs on campus. And then next, I'll pass it on to Ray that can go over our collaboration with counseling.
Thank you, Hua. Again, thank you all for coming to our Flex presentation. Since the advent of guided pathways, if you all remember back in 2018, the success coach role didn't exist. And so since that time, we have built one of the best relationships, I think, in student services between the success coaches and counseling faculty. We have 13 counseling faculty here, but we have some of our counselors that do reassigned time in athletics, in articulation, in programs, affinity programs like Umoja, Puente, so on and so forth. And so if we look at the slide, our success coaches are the first point of contact for our students. They connect students to very important support resources to get them through their goals. As Hua mentioned, they assist in removing barriers from financial aid, PeopleSoft, e-services, class enrollment, so on. They help enroll students in their classes in their first year and provide communication nudges, campaigns, I guess that we can call, for student support, engagement, and high touch. As far as what the counselors do, we create abbreviated and comprehensive student educational plans for our students. We make first semester, second semester course recommendations. We work with our students to transfer to four-year institutions, both public and private. We do short-term personal counseling. We also do career major exploration counseling and crisis counseling as well. With regards to crisis counseling, you can refer any student who is in crisis to the counseling department, and we will work with the student immediately and make proper referrals either to our mental health services or to community resources. Do you have any questions so far on the role of success coaches and role of counselors? I'm not monitoring the chat, so I don't know if there's anything I need to address. Okay. So as far as the collaborative efforts, because a big part of how we work together is the close relationship. Counselors and success coaches attend counseling department meetings, which I run every Thursday at 1:30. And full-time faculty, counseling faculty, our adjunct, our support staff, and our success coaches attend our counseling department meetings. We have periodic retreats that help us provide information for each other and help design the structure that we would like in the collaborative effort. And so our success coaches come to our retreats, and we work together to update our list of recommended courses and talk about curriculum and articulation updates so that we can better provide the correct and updated information for our students. And we reach out to each other, success coaches reach out to us, and in turn, we also reach out to success coaches just so that we can align information and or provide some sort of specific information to our students. And also, success coaches have access to our SARS schedule. SARS is our appointment scheduler platform that we use in the district. And success coaches have access to our SARS schedules so that they can block out time for us to do workshops like today, or put students into our appointment blocks, or block out blocks of time in the future if there are campaigns that the success coaches are doing, such as promoting a comprehensive educational plan for students, or other efforts that we need to do in order to better assist our students. Do you have any questions at all in terms of those three aspects of how counseling works with our success coaches? All right, thank you very much.
All right, just want to clarify that the presentation and a recording of this session will be shared with PD, and they will be able to provide that to attendees. But thank you so much, Ray, for that. Now I'm going to just talk a little bit about some of our key initiatives that kind of drives what we do as success coaches in the realm of like student support. What does that look like? First off, I want to talk about our first year milestones. So the success coaches, we came together and developed some key milestones that we encourage all of our new students to complete in their first year. As we primarily case manage first year students and kind of work with them throughout their year at CRC, we tend to, as Hua mentioned, send them a lot of nudges, or as Ray termed it, campaigns that we work on. And these are to encourage them to complete these milestones. Now, when we do this, we strategically run report, work with our research office to identify how we're going to be engaging with these students, with our students, not these students, our students, to ensure that they are completing these milestones and what kind of support we can offer them to encourage them, building that momentum towards completion. And these milestones are decided in a way to support the campus or the California Community College system and legislative initiatives, such as our milestones were connected to the We Won't Fall campaign, which Dr. Bush or President Bush rolled out in fall or back in 2020. Our milestones are also connected to supporting guided pathways, the California Community College's Visions for Success, Success, SEEP, and also our student equity plan and the college funding formula. So if you look at this diagram that I have on this screen, our first milestone is applying for financial aid. Knowing that finances can be a barrier for our students, we encourage our students to apply for financial aid first, as it can take a little time for things to get processed, and we'll send multiple communications throughout the academic year, but more heavily in the spring when the financial aid priority deadline is scheduled for. Just because you want to make sure our students don't have to worry about financing their education. So getting that financial aid application in is key. The second milestone is we always encourage our students to take math and English. So we kind of do that, think me first, right? So do your math and your English within your first year at CRC. Students who take transfer level math and English actually increase their chances of graduating and transferring in a timely manner. Again, this milestones, we're nudging the students who haven't attempted or enrolled in math and English in their first year. And of course, we start this process because we are very heavily involved in the onboarding process in acclimating our new students to college. So we tend to already start helping students enroll into math and English using our list of recommended courses, which we'll discuss more about later on in the presentation. The third milestone that we also promote is our plan for 15. As part of this milestone, we encourage our students to try to enroll in 15 units in terms of how to get through in 2 years, right? How to complete your 60 units in 2 years, try for 15 if it works for them. And part of the support we provide is we'll host enrollment assistant workshops. We also offer one-on-one appointments for our students. In the past, we've done persistent campaigns where we're also calling our students. We're also looking at, nudges for them, like sort of like just-in-time nudging that will get sort of like a call to action to get our students to remember to persist in the next term. And our fourth milestone for our students is we always encourage them to meet with a counselor to create a comprehensive student education plan, as Ray had mentioned earlier. Now, a comprehensive student education plan, how we word it to our students is it lays out all of the coursework that they would have to complete between now and until they reach their goal, whether that's to transfer and graduate. But again, laying this out shows them how many units they need to take in order to finish here at CRC, how much longer that would be, and to kind of be, how do I adjust that plan to fit, their circumstances in life. Again, we are always encouraging our students to meet with a counselor to make those academic planning happen, or to get that student education plan and to customize it based on what their goals are, their interests is, their major, if they have some changes that are coming up. Next, I'm going to share a little bit of data from what are the results of all of these milestone nudges. So as success coaches, we would like to believe that our efforts have impacted and supported student enrollments and success completion and whatnot. So typically, to support our students to enroll into the next term, as I mentioned, we will host enrollment workshops, always having counseling support there to guide our students. I want to say, referencing last year's cohort, the 23-24 cohort, we at the end of fall 23, we made 312 phone calls to our disproportionately impacted students, or our DI students, to encourage and to help them to enroll from fall to spring. And this was a collaboration with our student equity program. So our colleagues from MICASA, APIDA Hawks, and from TRIO assisted us to make these calls to reach our students. And again, we looked at the data to say, hey, by the time we reach open enrollment, so that was about mid-December, who of our first year students had not enrolled yet? Because all of our new students would have enrolled before open enrollment hit. So because of that, we took a look at that list. And as you can see, that data chart I have there, the top chart shows that in December, what we saw, that 48% of our new student group had not enrolled into spring 24 courses. And of that 48%, more than more than half of those students identify as DI, right? In terms of being Black, Latinx, or Native American students. So that's why we decided not only are we hosting an enrollment workshop, we all emailed them, we nudged them, we sent them a text message even saying, hey, today is your day to register for classes. Do not forget to do so. But we decided to call just as a friendly reminder to them and help them triage any concerns that they had that may prevent them from enrolling for the next term. And what we saw through our efforts were that by January 2024, so by the beginning of spring or right before spring semester began, 44% of those 48% students did enroll into classes after getting communications or contact from a success coach or one of our colleagues in our equity programs. Now, if you look at the bar chart, so you have a visual there. So we went from 48% not being enrolled, we reduced that number down to 27%. And so we were able to bring our students back in time before the spring semester began. But just wanted to share a little bit of that number with y'all. Again, another one I want to highlight in terms of our efforts with our milestone is encouraging our students to come in to meet with a counselor for ed planning, right? To get their academic plan or their education plan. So what we did was we set a series of nudges again, email, Canvas inbox, Canvas announcement, even text messages to our first year students. By the end of the fall 2023 semester, we saw that 54% of our students actually did meet with a counselor for ed planning, whether to plan for spring or beyond. So we were excited for that. If students weren't able to schedule their own appointments using the online scheduling system, or if they didn't get a chance to call in or stop by the counseling office for some help, we connected with the students by providing like a Google form where they can fill out, these are the days and times I'm available. The success coach took that information and helped schedule them an appointment and just kind of sent them reminders like, oh, don't forget you have this appointment that's coming up. Very important. And we try to send this nudge out right when the spring class schedule comes out because, from student behaviors, our students are a little bit more responsive when certain deadlines or important items come out, I guess. What we saw from this was that in of this Google form, we actually received 358 submissions from our students, and 58% of these submissions did come from students who identify as being DI. We were able to schedule 327 appointments for our students to come in to meet with a counselor to get that education plan completed. Again, the show rate for those appointments was about 82% who did come through and showed up and got their ed plan. But by the end of the 23-24 school year, because this is a campaign we did in the fall and the spring, 67% or 2/3 of our case managed first year students at some point did come in to speak with a counselor to get an education plan, which is awesome, so that this can help and support them in continuing to enroll until they reach their goal here at CRC. So next, Jenny will share a little bit more about how we support our new students with the onboarding experience into their first term here at CRC.
Awesome. Thank you, Chua. So like Chua mentioned, our Success Coach team, we do collaborate closely with the outreach specialists to help our students onboard early on. And this includes the orientation sessions. So in the spring, we went out to the Elk Grove Unified High Schools. There were a total of 19 high school orientations, and our Success Coaches collaborated with the outreach specialists, and we went out there to assist the students with the orientation sessions. In addition, we also hosted 23 new student orientations, which were offered both virtually and also in person at CRC. So through those orientation sessions, the Success Coaches were able to meet the students early on. And so as you can see on the screen here, this is a picture of our Success Coach flyer, and it's one of the resources that are in the student folders. So that way, when they do attend the orientation events, they see our faces as we're walking around helping the students during the orientation, and they're able to spot us. So that way, in terms of the relationship building, it does start early on during orientation. So that way in the future, as the semester comes closer, if they have any questions or need to loop back in with us, we already have that relationship built. In addition, can you go back, Chua? In addition to the orientations, we also assisted with the outreach with hosting 4 new student enrollment events, and they were all in person. They were essentially opportunities for our new first-time students. It's kind of like a one-stop shop for them to come and get help with attending orientation. They were able to get help with enrollment. And then also if they had any financial aid questions, they were able to come that day and basically get help. So out of all of those orientations, including the new student enrollment events, there were a total of 46 orientation sessions where we were able to assist with about 1,400 students. And then next slide, Chua. In regards to the onboarding, so during the orientation session, students complete the CAC list of recommended courses form where they indicate their major, and then they get an email with a list of recommended courses. And on the screen here, this is a sample of what it looks like for a student who is majoring in computer science. So the list of recommended courses, it's kind of like a program map, or we used to call it opt-outs. It's essentially like a 15-unit 2-semester list of recommended courses for students to utilize in terms of using as a reference point to enroll in classes. And it is created by instructional faculty in collaboration with counseling. And it is reviewed every spring to make sure everything's updated. Generally for the classes, it does include a transfer level math and English. And then as you can see on the very top, we do include important information such as zero textbook cost, what that means. If students are trying to save money, we do encourage them to look for that icon when they're looking through the class schedule. And then also AP and IB scores. So if students have scores of 3 or higher, we do encourage them to meet with a counselor to kind of discuss how they would like to apply those scores. So just as a reminder, the list of recommended courses are for our new first-time students as kind of like a general starting point. We do encourage students around October, which is when there are more counseling appointments available. We do encourage students to meet with a counselor to develop like, a student or a comprehensive student education plan to kind of lay out what classes they need to take every semester in order to accomplish their college and career goal. And then this next slide right here is kind of the page 2 or the last page of what the list of recommended courses may look like. And then on the very bottom, we do include lots of information in regards to the first year success checklist, which includes reminders, hyperlinks of, how to schedule an appointment with the counselor, important dates and deadlines, financial aid CADA information. We do encourage students to either complete or renew that every year. And then also included on the very bottom is helpful resources. So if students are trying to figure out, okay, how do I find my placements? What does it mean to be on the waitlist process? Requesting for a permission number from their instructor. And then on the bottom of the footnote, we do indicate the students' CAC counselor. So based off their major, who they should be in contact with, and then their assigned success coach as well. On to the next slide. So earlier I mentioned, as students are participating in the orientation session, they're completing the list of recommended courses form, right, to indicate the major that they're interested in. And this is just some stats in terms of the total number of students who completed the list of recommended courses form, right? It was about 1,700. In terms of the most popular CACs, they were science, math, and engineering, health and human services, and business and computer science. And then on the picture, on the infograph, you can see the most top most requested majors. So if you look at science, math, and engineering within that CAC, the most popular majors are biology, which were 135 students who requested that major, engineering, which was at 127, and then pre-nursing at 130. And then the next CAC, business and computer science, the most popular majors within that CAC was business at 89, and then computer information science at 124. The next CAC was health and human services, and the popular majors was our diagnostic sonography program, which unfortunately is on pause currently at 119, and then our medical assisting at 86. And then the next two categories is general education, undecided at 105. And then within social and behavioral sciences, we have psychology being the most popular major at 91. So this is just some information, as students are completing, this is helpful information for us to know, like, okay, what majors are students requesting, right? Because that's kind of correlated with the type of classes that students are enrolling in and so forth. So next, I'm going to pass it over to Lucia, who's going to talk about our case management.
Thank you. So this is our first year that we're actually going to be case managing our continuing students. We're really excited about that. Chua talked a lot about how we support our first time new students. And so with this initial model that we're doing for our continuing students, we're going to still be intentional with what we do. We're still going to be data driven, and we're still going to be a resource for students to navigate CRC. With this being the first year, we're going to focus on these things. So we know that completing first year milestones will help students reach their goals. So for those that maybe didn't meet those milestones, we want to still be there to support them. So for example, this summer we did a call campaign to our disproportionately impacted students, or DI students, that didn't enroll in fall 24 courses and didn't complete a math or English yet. So essentially we're helping them still meet that 15 to finish and that, think me first milestone. And then we recognize that this group of students is entering what potentially could be their final year at CRC. So we want them to be ready for what's next. So we're going to be promoting events and programs that will help the students in their transfer journey, as well as developing as professionals. So we're organizing college trips to UC Davis and Sac State, and we're going to be sharing and promoting all of the wonderful different workshops that the Transfer Internship and Career Center puts on for our students' professional development too. And so this is the first year, so we're going to be vigilant to see if there's other trends or needs that the students may have, and we'll try to see how we could attend to those as well. And then I'll talk a little bit about Denise's role and how she supports our dual enrollment students. And so just as a reminder, dual enrollment students are those students that are actually still in high school but taking college courses with us. She does her own orientation, and she does other workshops throughout the semester on topics such as time management, study skills, student advocacy, academic awareness, or how to use Canvas. Students are able to schedule appointments and meet with her, if they'd rather do it in person, through Zoom or whatever it might be, and they could talk about a variety of topics. And she also does communications, phone calls, text, emails. She wants to be nudging them as well when it comes to important drop deadlines. And then as far as how she case manages, not only does she track their completion, but if there's a dual enrollment student that might have dropped the class and got a W, she wants to make sure to reach out to all of those students to kind of see what happened, what can we do to be more prepared for next semester and have that support. And she responds to referrals from faculty. And then this year she is going to be hosting drop-ins 2 days when the semester starts, so the next 4 days for next week, and then just making sure that they feel ready to go. And the next slide. So now let me show you a little bit about how we do this case management via our Canvas shells. So after our students have enrolled in their classes, they're automatically added to a Canvas shell. So for our first year students, they're going to be put in a shell specific for their CAC. All continuing students will be placed in one Canvas shell. But for our first year students, sometimes they're a little bit confused. They're like, is this a class? Am I going to get graded? The answer is no. The Canvas shell isn't a class. It's just for a way for us to keep in touch, disseminate important information. And I'll give you a little overview of what you can find in that CAC Canvas shell. At the top, you'll find the announcements. So that's where we're going to share important dates, deadlines, like the last day to drop without a W notation, enrollment is coming up, things like that. And for our first year CAC shells, they'll also get announcements that will be pertinent to their students to their particular CAC. So for example, if there's some events that you'd like us to promote through the announcements, that's a good way for us to get that information out there. Maybe there's like a speaker series or internships available. Our second year students will be getting those specific like CAC messaging, but it'll be via the inbox since they're all in one CAC or Canvas shell. We will also put helpful topics, resources like career resources, scholarship information, tutoring information, or wellness. And then it's also going to have the information of who their success coach is and who the counseling faculty would be. And then we offer individual meeting opportunities for our CAC students to connect with us so we can further assist them with questions or just navigating CRC. And what we do is we use Calendly. It's a scheduling website, and we offer anywhere from 15 to 60-minute appointments, either via phone, Zoom, or in person throughout the year. And just as a reminder, we are located in the Welcome Center, which is in the College Center building. So during peak enrollment periods, like right now, we're primarily meeting with students to assist them with registration, clearing holds, barriers, or anything that could prevent them from enrolling in classes. During the semester, students meet with us to discuss like resources, how to overcome certain challenges that really might impede their academic progress or maybe their experience here at CRC. And Hua is going to drop a link so where you could find our Success Coach website, and then that has links to our Calendly and our contact information. And just want to go over the numbers. So these are some of our results from our student appointments. You're going to see a comparison from the past 3 years. So the orange section is our summer fall numbers in 2022. The blue is our summer fall numbers in 23, and the green is for this, like right now where we're at for summer fall 2024. So in support of new student enrollment for fall 23, the Success Coaches held 985 one-on-one appointments to assist new students, primarily Zoom meetings. And this year, up to today, we've held 860. We still have next week's numbers, and we, still have more students that want to meet with us to make sure they have everything right. During the fall 23 onboarding season, our team had expanded and was at its largest. So we are happy for some of our team members that went on to pursue their passions in other careers, but maybe that fluctuation in the team is maybe why the numbers are a little bit different. But our students are still wanting to meet with us. They still have questions, and we're still going strong in helping them prepare for their time in college. And now that we've talked about the Success Coach model, CAC Canvas appointment, I'll just go ahead and pass it on to Gurpreet, and she'll do a little bit of check-in for you.
All right, everyone. So we're just going to pause for a bit and do a quick little check-in to see what we've learned so far. All right, so for the first check-in question, we have what are their first year milestones? Chua did an awesome job of going over our first year milestones. So if you guys want to just go ahead and put the number corresponding to the answer in the chat. All right, I'm seeing some answers come through too. Lots of twos. All right, awesome job. I see a lot of twos coming through. So if we want to go on to the next slide, Chua. All right, so the answer is number 2, which is apply for financial aid, take math and English, plan for 15 units, and get your comprehensive education plan. So those are our first year milestones. All right, and for the next question we have, what is the item outside of the Success Coach scope? Again, if you want to just put the number that's corresponding to the answer in the chat. I see 3. Threes, yay, okay. And lots of 3s. All right, if we want to go to the next slide, Chua. All right, so the answer is number 3. So what is one item outside of the Success Coach scope? So a Success Coach cannot create an education plan for a student. That is correct. All right, and then for the last check-in question, we have, what is a list of recommended courses? Again, if you want to just put your answer in the chat real quick. All right, I see a 4 in the chat. Some more 4s. And so that is correct. So number 4 is correct. A two semester list of recommended courses created by instructional faculty in collaboration with counseling. What you see on the screen here is a sample of what a 2-semester list of recommended courses for biology AST degree looks like. Again, this was built by a counselor to include the list of classes students can take in their first 2 semesters. As Jenny had mentioned, this is to help get students started, and then students meet one-on-one with their counselor to receive a more comprehensive education plan sometime like in October of their first semester. All right. And then next, so now that we've covered our initiatives, we'll talk a bit about our programming that we can plan, that Success Coaches plan and host. So here's a look at some of our events that we typically host each year. So Should I Drop or Not workshop, we usually host multiple sessions of this event due to high interest. We will host it strategically right before the drop with a W deadline in April, and then for the fall in November. So during this workshop, students can learn about the impacts of dropping. We'll teach students how to calculate their GPA and what the difference between progress probation and academic probation means. And then we also have counselors in attendance for after information sessions. So if students have questions before dropping their class and they want to do a little quick meeting with the counselor, we'll have counselors on standby. And then the next one you see on the screen is our drop-in enrollment assistance. We host this event every semester around registration time for a comprehensive enrollment support for our students. We usually host about 1 to 2 sessions of the drop-in enrollment assistant to help students with registering in classes, help with looking at their math and English placements. If they have any questions about that, we'll help them with reading their list of recommended courses or their student education plan, which they may have received from a counselor. And then also just resolving any holds or errors related to enrollment. We have counselors available to answer quick questions about the transfer and education plans. Students don't need to pre-register for the event. They just show up and anytime during the event hours, and we'll assist them. We also host events for students to get an opportunity to meet with us. So we'll be hosting our welcome lunch in October for our case managed students. And then as Lucia had mentioned earlier, we will also be working with our second year students. Therefore, this fall, we will be adding a lot of new events to our programming. For example, we are planning for the college visit day for our second year students, which will also take place in October. So we're really excited for that. And then just to let you know, so most of our events are posted on their Success Coach website. And then please keep in mind, our programming is very dynamic. So sometimes we add programming based on what the student's need is. So next, I'm going to talk a bit about our student success team collaboration. So you can go to the next slide, Chua. Thank you. So Success Coaches support the work of student success teams through student referrals, events, and programming. We work very closely with faculty and admin to stay up to date on our course offerings, program requirements, and other nuances. And then we help relay and share the updated information with our students. We also work as liaisons between students and the student success teams, and our CACs to help with any challenges or barriers that students may be facing. And then how can Success Coaches support your students, and how can we collaborate? So one easy way is to bookmark the Success Coach web page, so you can easily share the link with students. We'll provide that link at the end of the presentation. And then, so for example, some faculty even put a short note in their syllabus regarding contacting Success Coaches as a resources for students. And then also providing our email contact information to students in your course who you think can benefit from us. And then you can refer to, students directly to us who you feel could benefit from our assistance as well. And now I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Lucia.
Thank you so much. So the early alert referral system was launched last November, and so some of you might have already gotten a chance to submit that last year, but it is so that referrals could be made for students of concern. The Success Coaches are receiving some of those referrals, or us, the CAC Success Coaches, but keep in mind that the system has a built-in logic to assign the request to a Success Coach that isn't necessarily the CAC one. So you'll see, like, maybe the student is an athlete, then the athlete specialist will go ahead and reach out to, or maybe EOP&S, or they belong to a different program. So if you have a psychology student that's also part of Mi Casa, the priority will be given to a referral for the Success Coach at Mi Casa, not necessarily for the SBS Success Coach. But we also are going to be having Denise being able to respond to the early alert referrals that come for our dual enrollment students. And then the program, that might have more than one Success Coach, they'll try to balance those referrals and those assignments. Next slide, please. And so the Success Coaches will be notified via email once a request has been submitted and assigned. They're going to be able to see the comments, maybe some proposed solutions, which we hope you go ahead and enter for that. But this is an example of the email that we would get. And then next slide. And so this is the report that we see when we actually go into the early alert system. I want to highlight that it's very important for us to know what options the student has so we can encourage them to take advantage of those opportunities. So you'll see on their options for student success, like they could offer extra credit, late work, things like that. If you're referring a student and it is appropriate, it is really helpful for us if you let the student know that they can be expected to be contacted by a Success Coach. That way their student is more likely to respond to our communication, or they don't feel like something was shared with them without knowing. Or even if you just want to make a blanket statement at the beginning of the semester, like, hey, I throughout the semester might make referrals. So if you get contacted by a Success Coach, it's that might happen, just so we could get you back on track. And when submitting a referral to a Success Coach, please include as much information that could help us support the student as much as we can. Maybe like issues or concerns or things that are very specific, like maybe connect them to a laptop because the student told me that they only have a cell phone right now. So that information is really key. And please be mindful that this is a system early alert that is for academic concerns, not to necessarily to help when a student is in crisis. If a student is in crisis, it would be more appropriate for you to then make like a BERT referral. We're here to help with those academic needs. And the way that it works is you send it to us. We will try to reach out to the student. We'll make multiple attempts, and then we'll go ahead, either close the ticket out successfully or maybe unsuccessfully that we didn't get a chance to meet with the student. But you will receive a notification at the very end when the ticket has been closed. And you'll also be able to see the notes that we put on there, the number of times we tried to call, or maybe the emails that we sent. At the end of the day, what did we connect them to, things like that. So if you're wondering, okay, I sent that ticket in, what happens next? You will get a notification at the very end once it has been closed. We just don't want to bombard you with so many emails. But if you are curious in the process, you could always log into your early alert system and you'll be able to see like that, oh, it's not just open, it's in progress, things like that. Hua will be dropping in a link for a video on how to better use Early Alert. And so although we prefer for you to use the early alert system, for some of the audience here, we know that they might not have access to submit an early alert referral. So you're still welcome to email the success coaches. You see here an example like, hi, Jenny, I have a student who I'm hoping I can connect you with. They put there the student name, the ID. Sharon expressed to me that during class they're having trouble completing the coursework because they're trying to do it from their phone. Do you know tech resources? So they name the issue. They might say a specific thing that they need. Or maybe, you know, sometimes you email us like, I'm just concerned because of X, Y, or Z. We could do some digging to see if there's any resources. But like I said, the more details, the better. We may CC you on the response so you know that we've reached out, you know, like when we email the student, or maybe we'll just like connect to the student and let you know, hey, this is what I'm doing on that end. And then I'll pass it over to Jenny.
Awesome. Thank you, Lucia. So just as a reminder, it was shared earlier as well in terms of what success coaches can help with, and also some things that are out of your scope. So as you're considering, you know, whether or not to submit like an early alert referral, who you should contact. As a reminder, some things that success coaches can help with, we're kind of like a first point of contact where we can help students with answering general questions, if they need help navigating some of the online platforms such as e-services, how to add or drop a class, kind of explaining what it means to be on the wait list, how to get a permission number. We can also help connect students with some of like the tutoring and some of the other support programs on campus. Some things that are kind of out of our scope that we may refer out is, again, if a student needs help creating a student education plan, which kind of lays out based off their major, you know, what classes they need to take in order to complete their college and career goal. That's kind of more in the scope of a counselor. And then in terms of mental health crisis, again, we do have resources such as counselors, mental health resources on campus and also within our community that can assist our students. And then also any financial aid information. We understand that, you know, it can be a little bit complicated, right, in terms of financial aid, you know, why they have a balance and so forth. So if there's any specific financial aid related questions, sometimes we may refer a student to talk directly to a financial aid staff where they have more access to the student's personalized financial aid information. So on to the next slide, you've heard a lot of information, right? And so if you're thinking, okay, awesome, what are some ways that you can support success coaches? So earlier, Lucia mentioned, if you have any major specific programming or events that you'd like us to share with our students, we generally do post this on our Canvas shells as announcements. We do also share, promote lots of different events and programming throughout the year, such as I think earlier Gurpreet mentioned the Should I Drop or Not. So we generally do share these events with our SSTs, and then the deans will kind of pass it along to the department. We also post the event on our Success Coach website as well. So in case you do need to reference that information. Sometimes we do get questions that are best answered by a professor, such as course content specific information. So if we do get those situations, we do appreciate your help in responding to those emails. One other thing I'd like to talk about is requesting a success coach presentation. So if you're going to have like a scheduled absence or, kind of in lieu of canceling class, you are able to request for a success coach presentation where a team of us will come out to your class, whether it can be online or in person, and we can come and do a presentation, and we can kind of tailor that in regards to what you'll like us to present on or what you think would be helpful to the students. So whether you would like us to share a little bit more about some of the resources on campus, support programs, how to be a successful. So again, we can definitely tailor the presentation to the student need. So again, just another option if you'll like us to come out in lieu of canceling class, we're able to, check in with the students. And then next slide. So how to contact us. So if you just Google CRC Success Coaches, you'll see kind of on the screen here, it's our Success Coach website, which as you scroll on further down on the website, you'll see our entire team. the CACs that we case manage, also which includes our email, our phone number, and our direct Calendly link for students to schedule appointments with us. On the top, if we do have any programming or events we're hosting, generally it's posted on our Success Coach website as well. If you're unsure which Success Coach to contact, we do have a general Success Coach inbox. So you can email the Success Coach inbox, and then it is monitored every day by one of our Success Coaches. So you can contact us that way as well. And who is going to drop into the chat our email address. And then lastly, we are on social media. So we do have an Instagram account. So please, students and staff, you are encouraged to follow us because we do post important dates and deadlines, different events that we may be hosting, resources that are available on campus. So again, please do, encourage students or staff to follow us on Instagram. And so that wraps up our presentation. I know it was lots of information that we shared today, so we do appreciate your patience and, stopping by to learn a little bit more about our Success Coaches and our role. So at this time, we'll open it up for Q&A. If there are any questions specifically for Success Coaches, or again, Ray, one of our awesome counselors, are here. So feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions.